Now let me cut to the chase. James Harden is my pick to win the 2019 MVP. If you look at the history of the MVP award, almost all of the winners had a certain storyline behind them. Whether it's Russell Westbrook averaging a triple-double for the entire season, leading the Thunder to the playoffs when you kind of expecting him to miss it, or if it's Stephen Curry leading the Warriors to the greatest record in NBA history with a 73-9 record. James Harden has completed the task of having a really good storyline behind him, as tonight he tied, well, depends on when you watch this video, but he recently just tied Kobe Bryant's record of 16 consecutive 30-point games. He's forced the Rockets back into the playoffs without having Chris Paul. And when I mean force, I really mean force, because if you can recall, in the beginning of the season, let's say like the first month, the Rockets was not looking hot. The Rockets were pretty awful. Whether it's due to injuries to someone like Chris Paul or James Harden himself, I think he had like a hamstring injury in the first couple of weeks of the season. And then, of course, the whole Carmelo Anthony situation. The Rockets was kind of a laughing stock in the league. And for them to come back around and be one of the best teams in the West, even though they're standing in the West itself, doesn't really tell that story. That's only because of how jam-packed the Western Conference is as a whole. Like, you have probably 1 to 14, the seeds 1 through 14 are potential playoff contenders. The only real team in the West that's not making the playoffs is the Suns. So that gives you a picture of how loaded the West is. And for basically James Harden by himself to pull this team from being a joke to an actual contender now. People are actually giving the Rockets the respect that they had last year when they was facing Golden State. At the beginning of the year, everybody was talking about, oh, they lost Mbah Mute, oh, they lost Trevor Ariza, but now you don't even hear those talks anymore because of how great James Harden has been playing. The guy is averaging 34 points per game. When is the last time you've seen someone score in this fashion? It's been a very long time. It's been since Kobe. Nobody's putting up these numbers. And it's not like he's just scoring the ball. He's still the same great facilitator that he's always been. He's been a great passer since his days in OKC. It's not a surprise. He's averaging 9 assists a game right now. And that's a high amount of assists, but that's not even being talked about due to his scoring outbursts. James Harden right now is playing the best basketball of this year. It's not even close in my opinion. And again, you can say he's done this without a lot of help. Chris Paul's been out for a long stretch of the season. Eric Gordon has missed games. You can say Harden really doesn't have any other player that can help him get the ball out of his hands. He's constantly been the only ball dominant scorer for this team. And when you take into consideration how much effort that takes when you're the only guy that can put the ball on the floor, it makes it all that much more impressive. James Harden is the MVP this year. I don't care what the Rockets' record is. He is the MVP. Nobody that is putting this great of a season, this impressive stat line, all of this, you take all this into consideration, there's no way why he shouldn't be rewarded. James Harden is the MVP this year. Besides last year with Golden State, of course. But again, this is not a playoff award. This is a regular season award, and James Harden for the past 2 seasons has been the best regular season player in the league. And that's all that matters. It's the NBA regular season MVP. And I'll just leave it at that. So if you like this video, hit up the like button, comment, subscribe, share, all of that good stuff. This has been Money Mack, and I'm out.